This brings us to God's principle number 6 of 7 of God's word with regard to physical healing in the earth and maintenance of health. The 6th principle is God has set forth his promises, activating gifts and blessings by our trusting prayer and our actions. And he is faithful to deliver. God is activating gifts and blessings based upon our trusting prayer and actions. He is faithful. Listen to Matthew 21, verses 22. And all things you ask in prayer, believing, you shall receive. Mark 11, verses 22 to 24. And Jesus answered, saying to them, have faith in God. Truly I say to you, whoever says to this mountain, be taken up and cast into the sea, and he does not doubt in his heart, but he believes that what he says is going to happen, it shall be granted him. Therefore I say to you, all things for which you pray and ask, believe that you have received them, and they shall be granted you. Romans 4, verse 17. God is the God who calls into being that which does not exist. Many say that we are called to be like God, or God-likeness, godliness. God is the one, according to Romans 4:17, who calls into being that which does not exist. Someone says, but the sickness symptoms are all over me. Well, what doesn't exist? The health symptoms, the health reality. Call into being that which does not exist. Don't be scared of that. John 14, verse 13 to 14 says, and whatever you ask in my name, that will I do, that my Father may be glorified in the Son. If you ask me anything in my name, I will do it. John 16:24 goes on and says, until now, you've asked nothing in my name. Ask, you will receive, that your joy may be full. We're talking about activating the gifts and blessings of God by our faith, by our prayers, by our actions. Matthew 9, verses 18 to 25 says, while he was saying these things to them, behold, there came a synagogue official and bowed down before him, saying, my daughter has died, but come and lay your hand on her, and she will live. And Jesus rose and began to follow him along with his disciples. And behold, a woman who had been suffering from a hemorrhage for 12 years came up behind Jesus, and he touched the fringe of his cloak, and she was saying to herself, if I can just touch his garment, I will get to be well. But Jesus, turning and seeing her, said, daughter, take courage. Your faith has made you well. And at once the woman was made well. And they continued on with their journey. In the 23rd verse, it says, when Jesus came into the official's house, and he saw the flute players and the crowd in noisy disorder, he began to say, depart, this girl is not dead, but she's just asleep. And they began laughing at him. But when the crowd had been put out, he entered and he took hold of her hand, and the girl arose. We're talking about things that are activated, gifts and blessings of God, activated by the action of our faith and trust in God. James 1, verse 6 and 7 says this, let him ask in faith without any doubting. For the one who doubts is like the surf of the sea, driven and tossed by the wind. Let not that man expect that he will receive anything from the Lord, being double-minded man, unstable in all of his ways. Psalm 26, verse 1 is a psalm of David. Vindicate me, O Lord, for I have walked in my integrity, and I have trusted in the Lord without wavering. Certain gifts and blessings are activated by our faith and our trust. David walked in his integrity and trusted the Lord without wavering. Mark 9, verse 23. And Jesus said to him, all things are possible to him who believes.